it away. He'll give it a go. Cowan obliging.
That's a good mark in the air taken by Alex Rance.
Loves that one off the boot, but he is back.
A big welcome and hello. Great to have you with us here on the Draftstars show. The last one for the year, and I'm joined by, as you can see down here, Kane Corn's premiership player, because he's been to the big dance a couple of times. How are you, Kane?
Oh, very well. Best week of the year, Grand Final week in Melbourne. Where else would you rather be? And we've got 100K to give away.
Yes, well, we're going to get to that in a sec. But back when you were playing in Grand Finals, they were actually in September, weren't they?
That's correct.
Now, of course, it's the old first weekend of October.
The season just goes on and on and on. The AFL have done it nicely, just extending the season. The bye before the finals probably got the Bulldogs in. I don't want to take anything away from them, but gave them a chance to get their good players back. And what a story the Western Bulldogs have been. Can they finish the fairy tale?
Well, I think everyone outside of Sydney supporters is hoping they do because, you know, breaking droughts like that, you know, when Sydney did it, you know, back in the mid-2000s, it was a big moment for the club. Everyone thought St Kilda might do it not long ago. This would be huge for football. Oh,
huge for the long-suffering Western Bulldogs supporters. 60-odd years they've had to wait, so hopefully they can do it. I think everyone hopes that as well.
Now, of course, if your team isn't in the grand final, or even if they are, this is where you want to be at Draftstars because we've got a huge competition this week. It's $100,000 you can win a share in.
100,000?
Yes, and all you've got to do is beat Campbell Brown, beat Brownie.
Beat Brown.
What does he know about football?
Campbell Brown, that is easy.
Now, it's a turbo competition. Of course, there are salary competitions and turbos, but this is a turbo. And how the turbos work, we explain them every week, is basically all you have to do is pick 6 players.
6 players from a predetermined list, as you can see there. 6 players, do it easy. It'll take you less than a minute if you want to do it quickly, or you can spend a little bit more time and work through it. Considering there's 100K up for grabs, I'd be thinking through it methodically and taking your time, but very simple and easy to play.
Well, certainly, and they're all in a different group. So you might have a first group that has, you know, gun players in it. The Bont might be in there, as well as, you know, Kieran Jack and Josh Kennedy. So you've got to make a few interesting selections.
Yeah.
But the scoring, of course, is exactly the same as it is in every form of the game, which is, as you can see on the screen there, you want players who kick goals, who do tackles.
Well, and Sydney laid 103 tackles last week, so that'll get you 4 points. So if you think it's going to be a tight, contested game, we know the Western Bulldogs love playing that contested style as well, but they're also a high possession team. So a couple of the Western Bulldogs midfielders are high possession players, Lockie Hunter and Bontempelli and these types.
Jack McRae.
Need to consider that when you're selecting your side.
You certainly do. Now, talk about selecting sides. We've been a little in competition with each other over the last few weeks, and I've been up and about.
It hasn't been a competition.
Well, it wasn't a competition last week. Let's have a look at our scores from last week's Turbo. Now, we picked a Turbo team from the GWS Bulldogs. And
is that right? If that's correct.
So sure it's not 520?
That is an absolute belting.
That's a shellacking.
Now, the tally reads 2 to me, 1 to you.
So this week's all important.
So this week you can
we'll hang on to it for the whole year.
But that is an absolute belting. So
well, can I say I got burnt. I've had too many GWS players. Jeremy Cameron.
We don't have excuses at Draftstars.
Zach Williams. I've got a lot of head shaking to do, but no, well done. Let's move on though. Enough of that. We're not here to give you a pat on the back. Anyway, but so last week in the preliminary final, the first one, Geelong took on Sydney, and it wasn't much of a contest.
It wasn't. A couple of Geelong players performed exceptionally well. One of them was this man, Joel Selwood, along with Dangerfield, got 39 disposals.
Shock us, these two playing well.
2-man band it was once again, but 39. What it doesn't say there, he laid 13 tackles as well and kicked the 1 goal, 166 Draftstars points.
Very rare to lose a game like that and have a performance like that. It shows you how hard he tries. He works his guts out for his side. Weren't many supporters of him.
No, there wasn't. Dangerfield was one of those Brownlow medalists who won that on Monday night. He was great as well, but apart from that, not much else. Now, the Giants and the Bulldogs played a cracker. One of the best prelim finals we have ever seen. And who would have thought the best Draftstars player on the ground was Clay Smith with 140 Draftstars points. I did not see that coming.
No, I don't think, and especially after the week he had, you know, you never know how tragedy is going to affect a player. And in this sense, it drove him to play as well as he did and got his team into a grand final. And can he do it again on the big stage?
And
well,
are you going to pick him again?
Well, this is the thing. You know, he's in form. It was like the Jackson McRae thing we said last week, and he came out and played pretty well.
He'll get a bit more attention this week, I would imagine. But 4 goals, best player on the ground.
Well, we need to get into this. We've talked about it already at the start of the show. Let's tell you about it right now. This is the competition you guys are going to be playing this week here at Draftstars. It's massive. It is the 100K beat Brownie. Campbell Brown, we know he's played in the grand final before. He's won a grand final in 2008 for the Hawks. Does know his footy.
But what does he know about Draftstars?
Well, that's the question.
All you have to do is beat Brownie for a share of that 100K. Let's take a look at your side.
Yes, so all you do is make a turbo team. This is the turbo team that I have made to try and beat Brownie, and I think it's pretty stacked.
Oh, can I just stop you there?
You can.
Do you realise there's two sides playing?
Yeah,
there's
the Bulldogs up there.
Not one Western Bulldogs player in your side.
No.
Surely that's not right.
Well, there's no rules in the turbo competition. You can pick whoever you want. I've picked this side. We'll see yours in a second. But these are my locks for you. Personally, if you want to take my advice, which you might not want to after I lost to Kane last week, Dan Hanbury. You've got to lock this guy in. He's hard as nails. We know he's been to the big dance a couple of times. Played well in 2012, didn't play so well in 2014. Got a bone-crunching tackle from Jared Ruffhead that put him on his bum. But we just know in the last few weeks he's been on absolute fire, averaging over 100. He's a big game player, played in finals. I reckon you've just got to lock him in.
No arguments from me. Cannot argue with Dan Hanbury. So well done with that one.
Happy with that one. All right, our next lock. And now, no surprises that I've got him in my side. We know I bump him up every week. But let's be honest, he's kicked over 40 goals in all of his finals at the MCG, so he likes playing on the big stage. He likes doing it in front of a big crowd. He hasn't had the best final series this year. He's only averaging in the 80s, but let's expect this guy to go off the chain here at the MCG on Grand Final Day.
You've got it. You've nailed these two because I'm not sure the Western Bulldogs have a match-up for him in defence.
Exactly
so you
right.
think he runs right. He is a key to the Sydney Swans holding up that premiership.
He'll get plenty of possessions up the ground as well, and he'll be moving forward.
Kieran Jack.
Well, this is my last one. I like to think, like we said about Joel Selwood before, where the captain stands up when he needs to stand up, and Kieran Jack needs to stand up on Grand Final Day. He wants to make sure his team go home with the silverware. They finished on top of the ladder. They lost their first final. He needs to lead from the front. He's a possession winner. He's a tackler. He's hard as nails. And I just think that maybe it's time for him to have a Norm Smith medal type performance.
I think he's due. I think he's due. He's been a solid contributor throughout the final series and throughout the season, as you said. He's not in the same league as Parker and Hanbury and Kennedy in terms of draft stars, but to win it and to beat Brownie, you need to pull one out the box.
Now, one caution for you, and I know this is another Swans player. I did look very hard at Tom Papley.
Another Swans player.
Well, yeah, I know. Tom Papley's had a really good year, great find for the Swans, and a really good player, and he'll probably bob up and kick you 2 goals, but he's not getting more than 50, 60 in a game.
No.
So I don't think he's going to come out and kick 8 goals in a grand final.
In terms of their performance and his importance in the side, super important player for the Sydney Swans. Off the rookie list, he's now kicked the 30 goals for the season. 3 again against Geelong on Friday night. So great mix in the Sydney team, but probably doesn't get you enough.
Just careful of him. Now, we like to just look back over our shoulder at the days gone by, and, well, it is a grand final weekend, and back in our day, well, how about in 2007? Now, it wasn't the greatest day for the Port Adelaide Football Club, but one player in particular had a pretty good day. Chad Corns. Is that Chad? Looks like Chad Corns.
No, that is me. Not a day that I like to remember.
No.
Considering we lost the game by 119 points.
Yes.
But if we were playing Draftstars and you had me in your side, you would have done okay.
You would have gone Kane's gone. And what does it show? There's 10 marks. You remember how many tackles you had that day?
I would have laid a couple, hopefully.
A couple of tackles. That's good going there.
But enough about me. This isn't about me because this is about our fearless host to my right here. And let's take a look at your performance back in the day. This is extraordinary stuff.
Extraordinary.
Playing for Collegians,
Yes.
the 15 disposals, 5 goals. Now, I wasn't a great mathematics student, but not sure that adds up to 275 draft stars.
Oh, you don't see the rest of the stats. I think I had 37 tackles.
You must have.
Yeah. Oh, we added them up differently in the amateurs, but yeah, we did win in 2011 and 2000. Went back to back actually.
Remarkable. Can we just take a look at some of your stuff and how you went about that, because this is just unbelievable. Have a look at this.
Look, have a bounce. Hey.
Can you bounce or not?
Even the commentator, well, I can certainly make up for it. Crowd goes wild as they should.
First goal of the game.
First goal of the game, just setting the tone. You know what's funny? Just before that, our full forward bounced the ball through for a point, so the ground wasn't particularly even. Here's one just before half-time.
Oh, you just snuck forward, did you? Just got the mismatch?
I only stayed forward. I never went out of the 50.
Snuck forward and done some of your best work. I just love the way that you professionally went and marked the mark, went back, had your set shot.
Yep.
So professional.
Oh, mate, absolutely. Let that one through on the breeze as well. Just settled the team, just when they were coming back at us. So, no, look, it's not about me. It is about me. We'll put some more highlights on later, but let's have a look at your side, the side that you're looking at in the Beat Brownie competition for a share in 100K.
Yeah, mine's a much more balanced side than yours. I actually included some Western Bulldogs players, which they are playing, if you didn't know. But let's take a look at that. The class everywhere, Kennedy, Bontempelli, Johannesson, Heaney, Rampy, Papley. Not too many arguments, although you don't think Papley
No, yeah, I
will
would stay away
score.
from
But
him.
let's take a look at my first lock. He's a proven finals performer, averaging 103 Draftstars points in his 17 finals. He brings experience, he brings the tackle, he brings the contested footy. Lock him in, he is on fire. And he's one of our favourites here at Draftstars.
Well, there are probably 4 Sydney Swans midfielders that you can lock into your team, no worries. So, no, that's a good one.
Happy with that?
Yep.
Tick. And probably the next one, the player of the finals, just 20 years of age.
I know, it's mad.
Can you believe he's 20 years of age? I think the best young midfielder in the competition, and will be rivaling the likes of Dangerfield and
He'll win a
Fyfe
Brownlow.
next year. Last time the Bulldogs played Sydney, he cleaned up with 129 Draftstars points and helped himself to 1 Brownlow medal vote. So I don't think you can complain about him either.
No, no complaints. I didn't get him in my side, but I'll give you that. It was him or Buddy, so I just had to put Buddy in.
I've gone for the Bont. Now, the other man I've gone for is Jake Johannesson. He was awesome. Jason Johannesson, I should say, was awesome on the weekend. I thought he was the difference against GWS. In the last quarter, when the players were out on their feet, he was electric. He just took off. He set up the goal for Bontempelli, which was probably the match-winning goal. But he's on fire. Coming back from that hamstring injury, his last 5 performances has seen 106 Draftstars points on average. So I've got him in. He's one of my favourites. He's a ripper.
And I dare say he'll find some space out on the wings, at the MCG. He'll enjoy that.
He will. He's just lightning fast. Probably the fastest man on the field.
I
Now,
know it's no Jake Stringer.
No Jake
You
Stringer
talked about
in
him.
there. Now, he was good against Hawthorn with the 3 goals, the final before, but wasn't sighted against GWS. He's been out of form, so just not confident enough to go with Jake in a big game. I think he's been out of form.
Well, good luck to you. Don't forget, this is $100,000 you could share, and as long as you beat Brownie's team, Campbell Brown's team, in this competition, you could be taking home a share of the cash. I feel good about our teams.
Well, I feel good about mine. I'm not so sure about yours. I think you needed to give the Western Bulldogs some love, just for some sentiment. At least one of your 6 players could have been a Western Bulldogs player, surely.
No, I couldn't get him
Okay.
in. If you want the terms and conditions, they are at the website, draftstars.com.au. If you want to see more highlights of my grand final, well, just give me a call and let me know. There it is, right?
There he
Oh,
is.
no. Oh, the last goal of the game on the left foot. You've got to be a multi-sided player if you're going to play at the top
Hang
level.
on, and let's look at the overzealous celebration. How about that? Remarkable that you've tracked down that footage and you've demanded that be played.
I didn't even
on
know this was
today's
even
show.
going to be on the show, to be honest with you. Good luck to your team. Good luck if you're going to try and beat Campbell Brown. Good luck in the grand final. Hey, we'll see you next time. Gamble responsibly.